Welcome to Peer Transparency. We're your hosts,
Eagle Me.
Anayoli Jennings.
Today's episode is brought to you by Ataraxis, a place of unity, peace, and growth. Today's topic is domestic abuse. How common is domestic abuse in Royal Ebony's households? And why is it that when males are abused, we don't hear about it, but all we hear is about when the Ebony women are abused? And altogether it's a situation that we need to discuss. And it's very common in the households and our people. And we want to know from you. I know you have your own testimony about it, but why is it that we try to keep domestic violence a secret, opposed of exposing the situation and getting help?
Because we are taught that what's happening in his household stays in his household.
True.
And there's no
True.
growth in that. My thing
Mm-hmm.
about it, we when there's a weed in your yard, you got to pluck it out. You can't mow over it because all you did was scatter the weed to create more weed. You
True.
know what I'm saying? So what you got to do is you got to pluck it out of your system. I don't care if it's your brother. I don't care if it's your son. I don't care if it's your daughter. Because they can be predators too. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care if you sitting up there as your mom, if it's your aunt, if it's just a babysitter or whatever. We have to learn to listen to our children. We have to learn to listen to our siblings, even when they're not speaking, to cry out for help, all that. We have to learn to do that. We need to, it's funny to me, and it's always been funny to me when you have, you meet other, Nubian people from around the
Mm-hmm.
world. And our parents always said the same thing. You leave the door open. What you trying to cool off the whole block? You know,
Right.
all these things are taught. All these things are trauma and it's taught. So and when it's
Right.
taught, it's just scattered all over the world. When you want to go get a switch so I can beat you. You
Oh,
know, um.
yes.
So the thing about it is, it's like all that is taught. So then when you raise up, you always end up getting the one side of the coin or the other side of the coin. You get the person that was always abused and
Mm-hmm.
they grow up to be very submissive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
it was always abused. Then you get the other side of the coin of the people that was never abused, right? But
Mm-hmm.
they just grew up entitled and they grew up
Mm-hmm.
possessive, and then
Mm-hmm.
they get with the people that's submissive and become possessive. It seemed like it always happened like that until they end up running into someone that is more abusive than they are, and then that's like two bombs going off because at the end of the day, because that's what two people can do. And the thing about it is, it's like the button that, hey, I choose violence every day. It's because you rather see what you want to see than what actually is happening to you. So every time your
Mm-hmm.
partner talks to you, you feel attacked. So whether you're male or female, you want to sit over and attack your partner as if, how they attacked you verbally. You want to
Mm-hmm.
attack them physically in that same manner. You know,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people don't understand that, domestic abuse comes from childhood. It's because it comes from a control mechanism, or you say, no one's going to do this to me, so I'm going to make sure. You get what I'm saying? Like as if you've been
Mm-hmm.
bullied. And you can be bullied in your household. You can be bullied
Right.
as anybody in your household. And we have to bring more of awareness to it and listen and say, yo, we need to take this out of our community. What's your thoughts?
Well, me being a victim of domestic violence, I witnessed my mom go through it. And what I learned is that sometimes you love somebody so much that you're hoping for them to do different. You know what I mean? So what it end up doing is you end up staying in the situation longer than you should. And then
Hmm.
you have a situation where It's not, if it's not about that, you're actually afraid to move. So I'm actually watching my mom go through it. And then
Mm-hmm.
it come to find out it was the result of, because she was a looker. She looks
Right.
very good. You know what I mean? She was short and yellow in a neighborhood full of women that wasn't. So she got lied on a lot. She was falsely accused of things a lot when men were trying to just generally like be nice to her. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And it resulted into something else. And my father couldn't take it. And it was just
Mm-hmm.
like that's what he did. He reacted in that. And it's just like, all that to say, yeah, what you're saying is absolutely true. But to actually witness a woman goes through that, and then the first thing that a child think is, why don't you leave?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you leave? Why is it that we're still here? And then it got to the point where I'm watching my mom go through it. Now, mind you, she has bruises on her body. She's high yellow
Mm-hmm.
with bruises. I got to the point, at that point, it was trauma for me. And then that's when I believe that my masculinity energy kicked in, is because I had to protect my mother, to the point I was picking up things to protect my mother. You know what I mean?
Right.
To the point, like me
Mm-hmm.
and my dad going head up with each other. And I'm a little kid. I'm only 8 years old, but I felt as though I had to protect her. So it's just like, um, everything that you're saying is true. It's just like, but at this point, it's like, now that we know it's an issue, and it's like we do have more help centers than we did back then. You know what I mean? We still have more things that's established for women and men to go to, but yet and still those things, them services are not taken advantage of because out of fear. And it's just like, so what do we do? Especially me being, like I said, when he was angry, it boiled over to us. You know what I mean? So it's just like, what do you do in a situation where you know you're supposed to go, but you petrified, like you're just, fear paralyzed you so much that you're not able to move.
The first thing that we got to do is take out the because we always make excuses, always.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
um, so in my case, my excuse was my kids, right?
Mm,
So I
mm-hmm,
was like, nah, if I leave, and even though I was right, because I said she gonna keep my kids away from me. But my
mm-hmm,
thing about it is, she told me something like after we split. I want to say about 4 or 5 years after we split, she told me something that proved that I was right because she told me, and I was in a whole nother relationship at this point, and she said, if you did not leave, one of us would be dead and the other one would be in jail, and I would be the one that's in jail. And I said, you're crazy for even thinking that way because
yeah.
I remember when I had called the cops on you the second time for putting your hands on me, that I was afraid for you that they was going to take the kids away from you. You get what I'm saying? So I'd rather put up with your bull crap and you hitting me and throwing things at me and belittling me, and then you go and you have your friends and talking about me and your family talk about me, and then the moment I try to defend myself and talk, and then you want to go and rah me. I dealt with that because I did not want the kids to be taken away from me. So we come up with
Mm,
excuses to say, well, I need to stay in this because my children are here. I'm just saying on the flip
yeah,
side.
yeah.
On on the women's side, it's more of safety, and then this goes my children or I have nothing. But my thing about it
Mm,
is I'll tell people that, especially when they come see me, I say, the first thing I say is, they be like, but I love them. And I'll be like, do you love them more than you love yourself?
come
And
on,
they'll be like,
right,
and they would tell me they never thought about it. And I'm like, but that's what you have to think about. Because why would you stay somewhere where someone is hurting you physically,
right,
mentally,
right,
emotionally, financially? You get what I mean?
right,
Like, you work
right.
and they take your money and spend it and they
Yes,
blow it and then blame you that the money
yes,
is gone. Or
yes.
you have those people, because I want to be honest, like, there's a male and female, a male and woman thing. There's a man and a woman thing where Men, when they want to get abusive, it's always over the control of, they mad that other people see something in you. So they try
Mhm.
to, beat that out of
Stop
you.
that.
Let
Yeah.
me take that your good looks away. Let me take all your
Mhm.
your your, your swag away, your charisma, and let you be a shell of your own self. So that way, no one will look at you because I'm afraid of losing. You get what
Mhm.
I mean? Because I know that I ain't shit. I'm not shit. I ain't gonna be shit. But guess what? I have to beat you down to think that you are beneath me because I know I'm beneath you. On the flip
Mhm.
side of that, when it's a man, this is what men go to but women would use their hands because men be abused too physically. But a lot of women use this tactic, and this is called being emotionally and mentally abused. When they say you're a cheater, you be like, nigga, I ain't cheat. So now you have to prove yourself and constantly proving that you're not a cheater. And to me, most of those women know that you're not a cheater, but they want you to keep proving themselves. Why? Because they know they're benefiting, and they don't
Yeah.
realize it's hurting you
Mhm.
emotionally, hurting you
Mhm.
mentally, because you like, yo, I give my all to this. Then the next thing you know, boom, you become a cheater. Why? Because you wasn't getting sex, because you wasn't getting affection, you wasn't getting respected. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And you
Mhm.
go, and it's not that you going out there and search for this stuff. You just like, yo, I'm not getting anything. And then all of a sudden, a person give it to you. And you're like, whoa, you get what I mean? And then
Yeah.
oh, I knew you was a cheater. No, you caused me to be a cheater because guess what? If you gave me something that I don't want to lose, I wouldn't have lost it for that crap. And 9 out of 10 of the people that they cheating on is way less than who they with. It's the total
Wow.
opposite because they
Wow.
they 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 don't want that feeling or that reminder to say, "Yo, that's the person that's hurting me."
Yeah.
You know. And if we
Mhm.
do complain about it, if we do say something, they say we're complaining. Oh, you a weak male, you a beta male, you ain't no real man. Listen, I'm gonna be honest. No woman out there should ever say that a man ain't a real man. I don't care what he do, what he don't do. You should never fix your mouth to say that man ain't a real man. Why?
Mhm.
Because at the flip side, he could say you're not a real woman, you're gonna be exposed. You're gonna be upset. Let a man say
Exactly.
you ain't no real woman. So you got to give people that same respect. If the man is not paying child support, you just say, "Yo, he's not a a damn he's a father, but he's not no one's daddy." There's a
Yeah.
difference. You get what
Yeah.
I'm
It's
saying?
major.
A daddy
Major.
takes care of you. A father sperm give to you. So you
Right.
can say that, but you can't say he ain't no real man. He been born a man. You can't take that
Right.
away from him.
Right.
And just like there's in our community, just like there's men that is irresponsible, there's women that's irresponsible. Because
So
I know
true.
a lot of women will sit up there and they have the children, but guess what? How much they put applying in those children? They let all the schools
Mhm.
do it. Even though the schools is brainwashing your child, you don't care. You work 12 hours. You work 8 hours. You want to come home and get on Facebook and social media and you want to go and take booty and titty pics, or you want to go home as a male and you want to just sit around and you want to talk to your homeboys or talk to whoever you're cheating on with, or you want to sit around and you don't want to pay no attention to your kids as a man. Listen, my son love playing basketball. I sit up there and I know I could be a hard ass, but I sit up there and be like, yo, come on, take these shots. You
Right.
know, I
Right.
I sit over there and give, but I know when to pull back to and say, yo, I'm too much. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But I'll say,
Mhm.
yo, y'all been chilling. But my thing is not to sit over here and say, I want them to be the best basketball player, so I got to drill this in them. No. I say, yo, I want to let you do it your way. And when I know that you're messing up, I say, yo, come on, this is how you do it. This is how you got to focus. This is how you got to focus. This is how you got to focus. I'm being a team player with my children instead of
Mm.
like, yo, I'm going to be their oppressor. Because why? When they grow up, They're going to move away from anybody that's like me. You know,
Exactly.
whether you a male, or you are a man or a woman, you have to be knowledgeable and accountable to what you're doing to your children, to what you're doing to your partners. Because at the end
For
of the
sure.
day, you sitting
Hmm.
over here and you talk about, hey, you know what? Move with me. All right, move with me. Cool. Now you know that she ain't got nothing, or you know that he ain't got nothing. Yes, that's
Hmm.
your house. That's your car. You knew
Hmm.
that when you first started dating them, that they ain't got nothing.
Hmm.
They don't have anything. So why are
Hmm.
you still using the term? Once you move in, everything is shared.
Hmm.
Everything is ours. I
Hmm.
don't care. Once that person move in, everything is ours. It's not yours no.
Right.
If you're still thinking like that is yours, you work for that, you did this, and you want to be entitled, don't move that man in. Don't move that woman in. Because at the end of the day, that's called being possessive. That's called being possessive. You're treating them like a slave. They say, "Yo, be on my good terms, and I'll give you something. But if you're on my bad terms, I'm taking everything away."
That's mental abuse. But yeah.
Exactly, mental and
Yeah.
emotional.
Hmm.
Because now you're hanging carrots over their head to say, "You better do what I say," or I ain't gonna pay your rent. That's like how some sugar daddies do. I'll pay your rent. Some sugar daddies, sugar mamas. We got this thing in the fraternity. They be like, yo, you want to get your dues paid. You know what I'm saying? But that
What?
okay. Seriously.
Yo.
But people do it
Wow.
though. People
Yeah.
do it. People
For sure.
character. The one thing about it is you must always be in line with your character, your integrity, and how you
Hmm.
treat others. And that's why I always tell you, like, yo, show grace, give people chances. That way, they can never turn around and say, yo, you ain't give them enough chances because you did. I know
That's
you
true.
ain't shit, but I'm giving you an opportunity to be something.
And
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead.
and it is so funny because I'm the totally opposite. Because once you show me who you are, I believe you at your actions. I believe you by your words, and I cut you off accordingly, right? But being involved and getting to know you and how you move, I'm beginning to see that you do give people rope to hang themselves, and that's
Right.
that's that's a learned skill. Because once again, I'm me. I'm not giving you that time because you stepped on my shoe once, and now you keep repeatedly stepping on my shoe, but you're looking at me as you stepping on it, which means I know you're doing it on purpose. So
Right.
therefore, it's like that caused a reaction. Now you
Mm-hmm.
like take your emotions out of it, Marie. You got to take your emotions out of it. And it's
Because,
like,
but
yeah,
the,
but look at
but,
their
but,
face though. Like you're literally doing this on
but
purpose. And it's just
but
like,
live in facts though. Let's live in facts. Don't live in emotions. Let's live in facts. They
mm,
always try to come back after that, right? And then they act like they ain't never do nothing wrong to you.
for
That's
sure.
because you got that's because you got rid of them. It's your job to let them get rid of themselves, and they'll never come back. They I kicked that man to the wayside. Yeah, you kicked me. You kicked me. Now stay out of my life. You
Gotta
kicked me.
bring a
Yeah, you
life
did
into
that.
you, brother.
You yeah, you did that. You did.
Thank you very
Shoot,
much.
I let people I sit up there and say, yo, I show you all the care, the love in the world, right? And I tell people, I said, I have people talking about, oh, you the puppet master. I said, dude, when it comes to my piece, I'll sit up there and I'm not holding you like a puppet. I'm just opening doors for you and sitting and see if you walk through those doors. And once you walk through those doors, I'm getting to know you. Everybody has a chance. You wake up with a chance and a choice each and every day. You
Hmm.
cannot hold someone accountable for the choices that you made. You can't hold
Right.
someone accountable for the chances that you did not take. And you're
Right.
trying to say it's someone else's fault. That's you.
That is you.
It's the same thing when it comes to abuse. No one made you do nothing. No one made you hit that person. You make me angry. Because I said that because you get on my nerves. No, that's you don't know. You're not in control of you.
You're
Because
not in
nothing
control
I
of you.
say or
Hmm.
do to you
Hmm.
can
Hmm.
make you go out of character. Somebody can
Shouldn't.
call me. Somebody can say, you a bitch ass nigga. Your dick small. You know what I mean? Your teeth crooked. You're this and that third. And you know what I'm going to do? Eh, you know,
You might
you
be
know what I
right.
mean? Like,
You might
what can you do? What? But that'll piss
right.
me off. Why would it piss you off? If somebody control your anger, they control your emotions. They control you. Why would it piss you off? It's not
That's
about
true.
what people say to you. It's about what you answer to. That's what makes
That
you you. And
that
people
is so
don't
true.
realize that. When you sit over there and you're in an abusive relationship, right? I don't care if you sit up there and have children with this person, if you own a house, guess what? If they kill you, you won't have it anyway.
Right.
If it
Facts.
if dude
That
is
is so
cheating or
true.
if she's cheating with a dude and the side joint or the whatever try to come and kill you, boom. Hey, if you in a poly relationship and you sitting over there and you bringing people in your household, right, with bad energy, and they sit up there and say, I love this house, I love this house, but I don't want these people in this house. But I want everything they got. You get what I'm saying? Like you have to
Hmm.
be aware of the people in your surroundings and what they're capable of. And
That's so
once
true.
a person show you, like me, I'm cool. You sit up there and I give you enough rope. But then there's a saying that sometimes the rope is loose and it drops all the way down. Like you sitting over here and you cussing me out in front of the kids. Fuck you, nigga. Fuck blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whoa. The first time you do that, I'm done. I'm good. Because I don't ever say fuck you, especially not
Right.
in front of the kids. I don't say that behind the scenes. So
Hmm.
where's this fuck you coming from? Where's this energy coming from? Because I don't do that to you. So that's
Mm.
common sense. If I don't do that to you, I'm not trying to stay to figure out why you're doing it to me. That's clearly your issue, right? So that means
Right.
I need to say, you know what? I'm cool. And even if that person, if I know that woman would kill me if I break up, that means I need to be smart enough to say, all right, I'm gonna wait till this person at work. Yes, this might be my house, but I'm gonna pack up my shit and I'm gonna get an order to get this person removed. You get what I'm saying? Or if this not my house, I'm just gonna make sure pack up my shit when they're not there so I can leave because my peace, my life is valuable. Do you
See, you see,
understand?
this
Like,
conversation is bothering me
what?
because
Huh?
for me, I just think that even though that's your take on it, and I respect you in that, you know
Hmm.
what I mean. So it does display your maturity. It does display that you do have control of yourself. But I'm still stuck on the fact. It might be the emotion of it. I don't know. But if you show me who you are and you
Hmm.
repeatedly show me who you are, I'm going to take it for what you're showing me. You're not going to have too many chances to keep crossing me. And I
That's
think at
true.
the end of the day, I seen, and the only reason why I think that I'm like that because I did witness my mom get beat. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I did, and not just by one person. She had another boyfriend that did it. After she left my father, she had another boyfriend that did it. So for me, it's like, oh, okay. So I think that's why I'm like, okay, that method don't work for me because I know you're purposely trying to hurt me. You know what I
True.
mean? And you're purposely trying to come at me, and not even though I'm still trying to deal with you in love. Now, mind you, you ain't did it once, then you ain't did it twice. Now it's on me, and I'm
But
still dealing with you in love.
let me
And
make
it's
it
like you
clear.
still find that space to bring that to me, and then I think
Right.
that's when
But
it's like it's a
let
nah.
me make it let me make it clear. If a man or a woman ever put their hands
Mm-hmm,
on you one time, you need to
mm-hmm.
leave that situation. I'm not telling you stick
Absolutely,
it out. I'm not. But if
absolutely,
you are in fear of your life, strategize your move. Don't just go and
exactly.
say, yeah, don't just
I'm
go and
out.
say, I'm going to be out and you don't have nowhere to
Mm-hmm,
go. Because why? You want to come
exactly,
back there because you have nowhere to go. You get what
exactly.
I'm saying? You have to
Totally agree with that.
strategize your move. Even if you're in a relationship where it's mentally and emotionally abusive, understand and see it for what it is. Stop thinking that that person is going to go back to who you met first because that was just a representative. A person that is genuine in their self, It doesn't matter if they're on camera. It doesn't matter if they're just on the phone. If y'all doing long distance, they're gonna always be their self, good, bad, and ugly.
But
If you sitting up
always.
there in a relationship where you have to keep a person happy to have good times, right? You can't disagree with them and y'all still cool. You know what I'm saying? Y'all respectfully disagree. They make sure you eat. You make sure they eat. You get what I mean? Like if you are like, hey, we got bad, we disagree. Now, boom, just because I disagree with you, we ain't talked for 2 days. That's not a person
That's
you need to be
crazy.
with. That's not a person
That's
that
true.
you need to marry. That's not a person that you need to move in with. That's not a person that you need to add to your relationship.
That's
Because
true.
at the end of the day, especially when you're talking about, these people out here that says, oh, well, our relationship is toxic. Let's go poly. No, no, because you're going to end up hurting other people and bringing them in your bullshit.
Exactly. But here's the thing too. A lot of people hide behind poly though. So a
Exactly,
lot
because
of
they
people
want to
will
be
list it.
cheaters.
And not only that, too, is more people to manipulate. They
Yeah,
have their own hidden agendas. You know what I mean? And especially if you're in a domestic violence situation, why would you open up that situation for somebody else? And
just to
all that to
control.
say, and I get it. You know what I mean? So it's just like at the end of the day, you have to address the trauma. I know a lot of women that get paralyzed when they get abused. They're paralyzed. They can't think straight. They can't move straight. They want to get out, but scared to get out. Because believe it or not, and then it is a lot of times, a lot of their spouses do end up killing them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's why I
Mhm.
always push every female, and not to put her business out here, but I had a coworker who literally got abused. She came to work the next day. The guy chased her. He was shooting into her apartment building. She jumps out the back window, runs. He catches up with her and hits her in the back of the head with the gun, and then hits her in her face with the back of the gun. Um, Petrified. Didn't know
Mhm.
that she was getting abused to that degree, right?
Right.
So when she finally told me, I was like, "You got to get a gun. I'm gonna sign you up for classes. I'll pay for it. Don't worry about it. You have to get a gun because there's no way, because she was short statured. There's no way that you can even get him a fight. You know what I mean? So you need to
But
get yourself an upper hand. The upper hand in the situation is to be able to protect yourself. So we
here's
went
the.
into the gun shop. I was going to
Mhm.
purchase the gun.
Mhm.
I was going to give her to make sure she get her license and everything because I need to know you're okay. She gets into the gun shop and she freaks out. She has a full blown anxiety attack.
Right.
Now, mind you, the whole time the guy is calling her on the phone, threatening her. She got his boys is coming to the house, threatening her. They're around her
Mhm.
car. She can't leave work. I'm like, this is no way to live. I used to walk her to her car. Me, I'm walking her to her car because I need to know that you're okay. But you're not even strong enough to protect yourself.
Because it's
And it's a
not in a
lot of
lot of
situations like,
people. It's not in a lot of people at that time, before he even got that bad, because he showed signs. People, abusers progress. And this is
yes, they
one
do.
thing that people don't understand. That's
Yes,
why
they
when
do.
I say, if someone hits you, right, before they
Mhm.
hit you, they belittle you, right?
Yes.
They become aggressive and push you up against the wall, right? And the men push women up against the wall. A woman will go and just swing at a man. They don't. Women, like when they hit, they'll belittle first, and then it goes from belittling to straight swing. Men is more progression, more of, I push you up against the wall, I intimidate you. You know what I'm saying? Yo, you better not wear that shit. Instead of being like, yo, if you wear that, that's kind of disrespectful. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? There's a
Right.
difference. So before you even get to that level, you should understand, acknowledge abuse. Acknowledge. Even if you say, I don't know the signs of abuse, you can always Google signs of abuse. And it shows you every different angle of abuse. When someone will buy you something as a grown person, and then they take it away when they get mad with you. No, like, all right, let me give you my example, right? So I was with my first kid's mother, And we was together for 2 years, and everything was peachy and cream. Like, yo, she was cool, and I was like I said, she was like my fourth string, because I was a thotty body back then. So she was
Thotty
like my
body.
fourth string. Yeah, she was my fourth string. Like, she was my, if we was playing in the NBA, she was like my sixth man, right?
Oh Lord.
So basically, I'm just being honest. Like, I'm being real. So it was
Oh
like,
Lord.
all right, cool, whatever. And then she ended up getting pregnant. So I was like, okay, cool. Now I always said to myself, whoever I have children by, or whoever I get pregnant, that's who I'm going to be with forever. So I got rid of everyone I was talking to, everybody else that I was talking to that I was entertaining. And I said, I'm just going to focus on this one woman. Even though I knew that wasn't me, but I said, I want to focus on this one woman because that's what she's into. And I'm going to do
Right.
right for her. Now, throughout that pregnancy, it was hell. It was like nothing short of hell. And everybody kept saying it was what? It was postmortem depression. It was this and
Of
that and
course.
the third. Well, let me
Of
tell you, and excuse my French, but this bitch still got postmortem depression. And my damn kid's 18 years old. Like, yo, when that shit stop? Like, I'm just being honest. When that shit stop?
don't get
Yo,
if you
because,
don't get treated.
but the thing about it is, I gave my all. I
Yes.
dealt with the I
That
dealt with the BS. I dealt with
yes.
it, and I was like, yo, and I even counted down and said, yo, let me look, the baby's gonna come because someone fed me on this postmortem depression bullshit, right? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, when the baby comes, she going back to normal. No, she stayed that.
Mm-hmm.
She ended up dying for like 8 minutes, 6 to 8 minutes. And I didn't leave that hospital for a week. Instead of me being praised for that, right? And waiting to name the kids, what I was greeted with when she got out of her coma situation, and I was there for her. And I said, yo, I'm gonna go, because what I did was I made sure we had a house. She was living in I was in the dorms, and she was living at her mama house. I sat up there and made sure that we had a rental spot so she can go back to her own house instead of her mom house. And when I went to go take care of that, guess what? Her siblings came there and named them and told her, "You better name them K names, or we're gonna disown you." So she named one of my twins Keyshawn and the other one's Kadeem. And I came back and I was like, "What the fuck happened?" You know what I mean? I wasn't gonna name them until we sat up there and we both gave them the names that we decided on. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because we already
Mm-hmm.
decided on names, but I wasn't going to name them without her. This was my first child. This was her first child. So, and then I was like, what the fuck is it? And what the hell is a Kadeem? Right? And I was like, why don't you name him Keith or something?
No
So then,
respect to kids out there in the world.
yeah,
No respect.
respect.
Disregard.
No, it's respect. But I'm just saying, like, yo, I'm taking balls. So, and I'm like, yo, cool, whatever. And I'm like, dude, that ain't cool. And I was like, you could
Right.
have named him Keith or something. So then she was like, oh, you named him Keith. And then I'm like, no, I didn't name him that. I'm like, dude, no, we'll do that. So once we end up, she ended up leaving the hospital like 2 days later. And it was a Sunday, right? So she was happy to be in her own spot and everything, got the furniture and everything delivered, everything. Mind you, I did not leave the hospital until that day, that
Right.
Friday, right? And it's been a week later. So I was like, all right, cool. So she was happy to be home. 2 days later, 2 days after she out of the hospital, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm changing the baby pamper. And she punched me in my face. Literally, punched me in my face.
Are you
And I
kidding
looked
me?
at her. I'm serious. That was the first time she ever hit me. And the reason why she hit me is because she told me not to put powder on the baby behind. And
So
I was
that's the
like,
reason
why
you
did
hit
you
me?
hit me? And that was the reason to
Wow.
punch. Like, it wasn't even a love tap. It was a literally punch in my face. And I looked at her. And because I ain't never been abused before. Me, I come from the streets. Fight is a fight. I'm looking at her
Yeah.
like, yo. Because I had to check myself. I was like, yo. You know what I'm saying? My fist was already balled. I'm like, yo, because it caught me off guard. And I was like, yo, don't do that ever again, dog. Don't do that ever again. I don't know what the hell is your problem, but don't do that again because, man, I was about to deck you. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't stop there, and it kept going and kept going and kept going. And you know, being a boy, being a man, I was only when I had my kids, I was 18. So when I sat up there and I was like being honest, when I was being honest with my siblings, and I was like, yo, I'm being abused. And they laughed at me
Mm-hmm.
because it's
Mm-hmm.
not taken seriously for men. And I was like,
It's
no, I'm
not.
serious. I am
It's
being
not.
abused by this woman. And they was like,
Mm-hmm.
no, she's so sweet. I said, seriously, I'm being abused. And I just shut down. And I stopped telling people because everybody took it as a joke. And it wasn't a joke for me. Like this, it was literally driving me crazy. Right. And I was, being hit on each week. Every single week I was with this woman, I got hit. Sometimes twice, and then it was to the point where, like, let me tell you, man. This chick one time one time she came to pick me up. I gave her money, right? I gave
Mm-hmm.
her money to put gas in the car. She dropped me off at work. She came to pick me up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she blew the money on something else that ain't had nothing to do with nothing. And there was no gas in the car. She said, hey, you need to put gas in the car. I said, I gave you money already to put gas in the car. And she was like, well, I need to do whatever. You got to put gas in the car. So I said, all right, the closest gas station wasn't for like, I want to say about 15 miles, 10, 15 miles. So when we going, we almost we on the highway now. And I'm praying. I'm like, whoa, please, we make it. The exit to go down to the gas station is right there. We stop and off to the side of the road, right? Some man stopped, black dude. He stopped. He was like, "Yeah, da 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 da." He's saying, "Hey, I help you out, whatever, whatever." And this is what I mean by praying on each other. So she sat up there, and I was like, "Yo, I'll take the gas canister, and I will go." She was like, "No, I got it." So when she went, I said, "You sure?" Because I had the kids in the car, right? So I was like, all right, I'll stay and watch the kids, whatever. So she went and got gas. She told this dude that we was brother and sister. Told this dude we was brother and sister. I didn't know about that. Once he helped, once the gas came, we put gas in, whatever. And I told dude thank you and everything. And I went to the gas station, put more gas in the car, whatever. And somehow, like 2 weeks later, I'm coming home. This dude is pulling out of my freaking parking lot, like my parking spot in front of my house. And I was like, what the fuck? Oh, I thought he had some money. What the fuck is that? What the hell's going on? You get what I'm saying? But yet she always
Wow.
told me I was a cheater. You're a cheater. You're a this. And what she did was she paid for our cell phone. So she kept taking my phone. I was like, dude. So, and when I go and I try to, I didn't have that much money by then. But when I try to go and purchase my own phone, she would give me back my phone and say, no, we don't have the money for that. You get what I'm saying? The control. So, and like, it was so much abuse in that relationship. And I was like, yo.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat up there and I had to actually have a talk with my mom and say, hey, mom, I'm just tired. Like, nothing I do for this woman is ever good enough. And she's always hitting on me, and she's always putting me down. It was one time I had to kick her friend out of my house, mind you, house that I'm paying bills at. And her friend came over talking cash shit, and I said, "Yo, you got to roll." And she was like, "Oh," and she told Katrina, "You need to take me home." I said, "Nah, not in my car. Hell, you want to walk or take a bus, catch a cab? I don't know what you got to do, but get the fuck out of here. You ain't gonna come in my house talking shit." And being in that relationship, like people thought, like, dude, I was sleeping in my kid's room with the dresser up against the door because I woke up one time and she had a knife and she tried to swing it at me. Do you understand? Like, yo, it was that much toxic. It wasn't she was just standing over me with a knife. I could deal with that. I'll be like, yo, this is great. But she tried to swing it at me while I was sleeping. I woke up. You know what I mean? There was another time where when she hit me and I said, you know what? And this is right before I talked to my mom. I left and I took the boys and said, you're gonna stay the weekend by yourself. She was blowing my mom's blowing my mom's house phone up, blowing my mom, and I was like, nah. I unplugged it and everything. My mom told me, yo, if you have to hit someone or someone have to hit you, you shouldn't be in that situation. And it took my
Period.
mom to say that for me to go back home, and I went back home the next day. Excuse me. But I went back home the next day and was like, yo, I'm done. This was after me calling the cops. This was after all that. And I kept telling her, yo, you do it again, I'm leaving. You doing it again, I'm leaving. But what kept me going back was, if you leave, you're leaving your children. And this woman
Mm,
is not going to let you see your kids. And I'm a proud father, like taking pictures all the time. Like, yo, these are my mans. These are my kids.
mm,
You know what I mean? And at this time, she was pregnant. You get what I'm saying? And I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm gone. I'm done. So when I brought the kids back, and I'm laughing, because she come in the car and she got these two car seats and he's running up and whatever. And I'm sitting up there and I'm like, yo, and she's yelling. I said, look, I ain't for it. I got a headache. I got a migraine. And I went to lay down, right? I went to lay down, and you know that moment when you're like half sleep, half woke.
mm,
So and that's where I was. So I felt an impression by my head. So I'm thinking that she's sitting next to my head and she just want to talk. I was really wrong. I was terribly wrong because she actually stood on the bed, had her boots on, and she started kicking my head. And I jumped up, like I literally, like I was as if I was possessed, and I swung and I punched a hole in the wall. Remind you, when I was with her, I stayed at this how old it was. I would stay at Kmart buying plaster because I kept punching holes in the wall because I didn't want to touch her. And that's how much you're like tired. Like, yo,
mm,
and when she kicked me and I punched a hole right next to her face, and I always promised myself I would never hit a woman, right? And I'd say,
mm,
yo, I gotta go. And I told her this. I said, you got 30 days to move. 30 days. I said, I'm kicking you out. You going. I said, I go to my mama house. I do what I gotta do. For 30 days, you gotta go. And when she did that, and this is what abused people do, they love control, right? So how they when she lost control, and then she's like, all right, I want to get this control back. So what she did was told her brothers that I was abusing her. So now they're angry at me and thinking that I'm abusing her. And I'm like, do they not pay attention? Like, I'm afraid of her. Like when she flinch, I'm flinch. You get what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. So and so what happened was she did a baby shower, and that baby shower turned into a riot because her brothers was there to fight, but they didn't understand I was a fighter. I don't have a problem fighting men. They didn't understand that. She felt that I'm soft because I don't hit her, but I don't have a problem fighting men. And I took all my
mm,
aggression out, and I almost killed her brother because that was my aggression. you know.
mm.
But then all of a sudden I'm crazy, but y'all try to jump me. You know
Right,
what I'm saying? You try to take my life. You're doing this in front of my kids. How am I supposed to react? Am I supposed
right,
to be pleasant? I got all this build up frustration from you, and I ain't never have anywhere to put it. And now I got somewhere to put it. You try to take that away from me? No, no, y'all gonna get all of this. And that's what happened. And what it has is it changes you because
yes,
after that relationship, I was a whoremonger. I didn't trust anybody. Like
right.
seriously, like we have sex, I spend time with you, but you can't get nothing
So
from me. I
basically,
don't
you're
trust you.
assessing out of your trauma.
Exactly. It took a woman. It took a woman I was dating, and at this time when we was done that relationship, I was like 22. It took a woman that I was dating that she was about to commit suicide because how I was treating her, for me to wake up to realize that my pain, I let my past pain hurt another. And I sat up there and had to take time for myself and say, yo, I have to be accountable for how I'm affecting other people because, to be honest, the abusee will become the abuser when they're dealing with another personality. Like they
That's
can
true.
be getting abused and then they will leave that relationship and they will become with a person that's more mellow and they abuse that person and they don't even
Mm,
realize it. And you're like, no, You have to take that energy off of you because that abuser energy is still on you if you didn't decompress.
Right.
That, that you got to let that go. But go ahead.
You have said so much. I'm still trying
I
to
know.
process it. First of all, kudos to you. Um, One thing I'm learning about you, you have composure over self, especially when it involves other people. And kudos to you. And now I understand why you give people rope to hang themselves. It makes perfectly good sense now after hearing everything that you've been through. But not only that, hats off to your mom with giving you exactly what you needed in that hour for you to come to that point, like, you know what, I'm done. And then only that is outstanding parents like you that thinks about the kids first, even though that means putting your life in danger.
Right.
So once again, kudos to you. And like I always tell you, I apologize for her for not understanding what she had in you. Because a lot of people don't recognize love and they ain't never been loved. You gotta love yourself first, right? So I apologize on her behalf because she didn't understand what she had in you. And she
Mm-hmm.
didn't value what she had in you. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
also giving you kudos too because you didn't let that taint you from being what you are to other people. Could have easily turned that way, and you didn't
What
allow it.
what people don't realize is when you are abused, it is so nurturing to tell your story, to get it out.
Mm,
It
yeah.
doesn't matter if you was a victim of sexual abuse. It doesn't matter if
Hmm.
you was a victim of mental abuse, physical abuse. Abuse is abuse.
It is.
And
It
when
is.
you tell your story and you say, "Yo, this happened to me," it makes you
Mm-hmm.
stronger. It not only makes you
Mm-hmm.
stronger, but what it does is it builds those around you because they went through the same thing and they don't know how to get that energy off of them. And you're giving them an outlet to say, "Yo, you're stronger than that." You know,
Exactly. Exactly.
you're not a victim. There's a difference. When you want to
Mm-hmm.
hold on to that anger and hold on
Mm-hmm.
to someone abusing you or someone cheating on you or someone doing you wrong, that's you choosing to stay a victim. But when
Mm-hmm.
you sit over here and say, it happened to me, I can teach people, I can go ahead and I'm better than this, I'm going to adjust my crown, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Guess what? What happens is you become a survivor, not a victim. You survive that and you move in past that because that's
Mm-hmm.
happened with one stage in your life that so many people, things happen to them and they get stuck in that moment for years. For years to come, you're stuck in that moment. Look how
Yes.
many women, men and women, that can't keep a relationship because
Yeah.
of what someone did to them 14 years ago,
Yeah.
10 years ago, 5 years ago. 5 years has passed. That person moved on with their life. Why can't you?
Yeah.
Why can't you,
Trauma.
like, yo, let that trauma go? Because
Mm-hmm.
guess what? It happened already. It
Mm-hmm.
happened. It's not you allowing it to continue happening to you each and every day in your life. You're allowing that. Stop doing
Mm-hmm.
that. Stop hurting yourself. Just like if a woman cheat on me, which a woman have, right? And they say, "Yo, I'm not going to ask you for every detail. I'm going to just say why you cheated. Break down why you cheat. Why you this?
Mm-hmm.
Why you that? I'm not going to say how you cheated, what you do. Why? Because I'm stabbing myself even more. Because the more I
Exactly.
know, the more I go and I'm calling this dude up. What she do? What you do to her?
Right.
Oh, you
Right.
stroked it like that.
Right.
I'm hurting myself. I'm hurt.
Right now.
I'm physically and
Exactly.
mentally hurting myself because of this.
Exactly.
Nothing that you're doing. I want to know. I want answers. No, what you're doing is you're hurting yourself and you're damaging yourself even more. Because guess what? Once you found out he cheated or she cheated, right? You can
Mm-hmm.
ask why you cheat because that is going to help you. You try to answer what they did, why they cheated, and what like that's not going to help you. That's hurting you more. That's that
Yeah.
right there. Unless you're going through divorce court and say, all right, what do you do? Oh, she went to the hotel, paid for a hotel. I need my money back. Oh, she used my car in my house? Okay. Putting that in the divorce decree. That's helping you. But if you just sin and it is no cause or effect, it's just an effect. You know what I mean? There's not a cause for it. So you're hurting yourself. You got to realize when to let things go because it's
Mm-hmm.
not beneficial to you. Think
Mm-hmm.
about it. Listen, for years, listen, I can literally say I was raped at 9 years old. My
Right.
uncle sat up there, brought me over to his apartment, right? And he had a grown ass woman have sex with me and suck my dick.
At
To
9.
me, at 9, to me, I'm like, I don't know what's going on, whatever. I didn't know it affected me. I listened to what I'm saying. I didn't know that it affected me until I was almost 30. I didn't know it had a bad effect on me. And it affected me. This is why I became a whoremonger. Because why? Because I had something deep down that I did not deal with. I didn't
Yes.
deal with that. And I covered
Yeah.
it up and kept covering it up until I didn't even know what was bothering me. And why was I needed to go have sex. Boom, go have sex. And then be like, why did I do that? I don't even like her. Why did I call her over? I don't even want her. But within that moment, oh, I need to go through my book. I need to go through my book. Oh, she's the only one available. You get what I'm saying? Stop
See, that was
becoming
totally opposite of that. When I got
what?
sexual abuse, I didn't want it. I didn't want to be touched. I didn't want to be bothered. I was the only one in my hood that did not have sex. I was a virgin for the longest. I was like, I didn't want to be bothered. How ill? Like, why? Why
Men,
did you
but
do that?
the thing about it is this, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, men, the majority of men, when they're sexually abused, right,
Mm-hmm.
they go towards sex. The majority of women, either y'all got y'all got two ways. Either y'all become very
Promiscuous.
promiscuous, or y'all
Mm-hmm.
become shut down. Men are not like that. Men are I need it because we're sexual beings, and we
Mm-hmm.
can become to the point that we need it, and we can't get it from a woman. We go to men because we need it. There's no
Mm-hmm.
filter. There's no filter. Same thing with a woman. A woman would be like, I need it, I need it, I need it. I'm gonna have sex with everybody, blah, 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 and she don't even know why. But yet you having sex with brothers, cousins, because you feel like as if, yo, I don't deserve a good man. I don't
Mm-hmm.
deserve a good partner because this is so it's still on me. This dirt,
Ingrained.
this
Yeah.
stench is on me.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Men don't
Mm-hmm.
think like this stench is on us. We just try to block it out and say we need to cover up and be a man. And at the end of the day, we go and try to cover it up with sex. Some of us cover it up with drugs. Some of us cover it up with gambling. Some of us cover it up with suicide. And
Yeah.
because we
Yeah.
as men are a lost cause. We're like the last thing of mental health, especially black men. What? You complaining that a teacher had sex with you? Oh, you
Yes.
suck. You get what I'm saying?
No, that's not
I
cute at
I
all.
boasted, right? I boasted for so many years. Like, yo, I was 14, and I had sex with my teacher. She was 36. But when I got older, I was like, I'll be damned if my
Yeah.
kids, if a 36-year-old touch my damn kids. I'll be
Yeah.
damned. I don't care. I'm fighting her. I'm whew. You know what I'm saying? I'll be fighting a
I
woman
know.
today. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
my thing about it is trauma creates more
It's real.
trauma.
It
If you
is real.
allow it to stick around, it's just like the mustard seed, right? When
Mm-hmm.
you say when you have a faith like a mustard seed, it grows. Trauma is the same way. Trauma, fear, it all starts like a mustard seed, and the more you feed it, the more it grows. And the more it
Mm-hmm.
grows, it's hard to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to stop feeding our trauma and our fears and say, yo, this what happened to me. I need to speak so it won't happen to no one else. So we can become protective of our youth, of our brothers, our sisters.
But
You
even
know,
when you speak, it still go falls on dead ears. Like I spoke up and it was like nothing. Nothing came out of that. Nothing at all.
yeah.
To the point I stopped talking for 3 years.
But
Three
the
years
thing
straight.
about
In order to communicate, I had to talk
mhm,
to my cousin Claudia. My cousin Claudia would tell my parents what I wanted. So
right. But
talking
this
all
is
the
a
time doesn't work either.
But this is the thing:
Mm-hmm.
you're talking, and you're talking to people that's not listening. If your parents don't
Your
listen,
parents.
talk to
Mm-hmm.
someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Keep talking until you find that one that will listen.
Right.
That's the only
You
way it
have to go.
works. Because if you give up, guess what? You all you did was just give up. When you don't talk, no one is listening because no one knows. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to keep talking until someone, that one person listens. If you're being
Mm-hmm.
abused at home, you say, "Yo, I'm afraid of this man. I'm afraid of this man. I'm afraid of this woman."
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? If they don't listen, keep saying it. I'm afraid of this person. And
Mm-hmm.
guess what? They're going to make sure that they help you out, whether it's going to protect you or say, "Yo, I got this much money. Just leave the state. Leave everything behind. Take your kids. Go. You
Mm-hmm.
can make a new life somewhere else. But if you're dead,
That's
you can't make a new life somewhere else.
that is true. That is
Sometimes
true.
you got to just go. You got to leave. We have to detach from the materialistic things that we have grown accustomed to say, "I can't leave my house." But is your life more important than your house, or your house more important than your life? Is your life
Mm-hmm.
more important than your car? Is your car more important than your life? You get what I mean? Is your life more
Mm-hmm.
important to that bank account? My thing about it, sometimes we have to leave. It's just like a iguana. We have to shed skin just to
But
live.
back to that, but this goes back to what we were saying before when I was telling you they feel like they invested in something, even though they're in a very traumatizing situation. But I invested, I made this and I did that. But those very possessions will cost you your life. And you're right, you have to get up and you gotta go. And I don't know why. It's a lot of women that's paralyzed with fear and can't move, but at the same time, like you say, you have to have a strategy, but you need somebody to have that strategy with, though. So there are services out here that are willing to help. That was more than when I was young. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
But
So it's
but
things now that is in place to help you.
but before the service, you have to be have you. It's just like you can bring a horse to water, but you can't force the horse to drink.
That's true.
Everything starts with you. Nothing is going to come to you. Nothing is going to be like, you know what? Boom, and here you go. I know you've been abused. You got the dot on your hand, but you have to put the dot there to say, "Hey, I'm being abused." You have to give that note. You have to say, because guess what? No one, 9 out of 10, the abuser that's at home is friendly with everybody. They friendly with everybody. So people can say, "Oh no, not Tim. Tim is not an abuser. I've been friends with him for 10 years." "Oh, not Rebecca. Rebecca is not abusing you. She's a great woman."
Mm-hmm.
An abuser always put that mask on to be friends with everybody. Will be the enemy. They would choose to be the enemy to their partners, but they would sit over there and be everybody's best friend. New people can come in their life and they'll sit up there and be like, "Cool, oh my God," and they'll put that person over their partner. It's not Abuse is not always physical.
That's
Sometimes abuse
true.
is emotional.
That's true.
Sometimes abuse is mental.
It's
If you
verbal.
come at home, right, it's verbal.
Mm-hmm.
Belittling is a sign of abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Someone feeling like they got to curse at you, like or talk down to you, is
Mm-hmm.
abuse. Someone
Mm-hmm.
that feels like, "Yo, okay, they understand you ain't got a job, but yet they want to sit over there and try to control everything." Like if you wake up, right, and you look at your relationship and you say, "How often do we do things I like?" And if you can't count on one hand, just within this year, that y'all done things that you like as a family, as a partnership, that's kind of emotional abuse because you're in a one-sided relationship. You're in a relationship for a person that want to do their things and they just want you there to contribute. They don't want you there for your opinion. You're to be seen and not heard. That's abuse. These are not. A relationship is a partnership where y'all make decisions together. Even if y'all
Together.
disagree. If y'all disagree,
Mhm.
that's cool. That's no biggie because y'all don't have the same mind. But y'all still can come to an agreement to say,
Mhm.
okay, if we disagree that what kind of car we want, can we agree on the color? Can we agree on
Mhm.
the year? Can we
Mhm.
agree on the mileage? You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like these are things that you have to sit and talk. That's called partnership. We need to stop playing house and have a partnership. People that play in house, you in a car, you in a house where things are in his name or things are in your name. They ain't in both y'all names. Then y'all can't even open a bank account together. If y'all take trips, guess what? One person is always paying.
Always.
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 Y'all go out to
Always.
dinner, one person is always paying. But then they be like,
Always.
well, it's both for our money. But is it both for our money when we coming up with trips? Is it both for our money when we like come on, it can't be both for our money for sometimes and then both for our money for some, others. We have to get to a point where we're like, yo, you know, we're gonna be on one accord on every single time. So
Mhm.
this is what I'm gonna do. My final word is I'm gonna let you go first because I always go again. But go,
I don't have no. I'm in awe. I don't.
you know.
I I'm. But here's my thing. Most importantly, every situation with abuse is different. Some are able to walk away. Some are paralyzed in fear and not able to walk away as freely. But with strategy, you can do it. So my thing is, abuse, if you're being abused or you're in an abusive situation, please do not be silent about it. And if you find yourself that nobody around you is listening, you have social media now. You know what I mean? You have
Mhm,
services now that's there for you and place for you. Reach out to someone. Even if you walk in somewhere and you tell a stranger is willing to help you. Times are
mhm,
so much different than it was back in the day. Speak up. Speak up and move. It's just that
mhm.
it's simple for me to say it, and I know sometimes it's harder. It's easier said than done, but you can get out of this abusive situation
Right. And
alive.
this and the thing about it is I want people to understand you're talking or hearing two people that have
Mm-hmm.
been abused. We've been in an abusive situation. So we're not
Mm-hmm.
just saying, we're not just blowing smoke up your ass and saying, oh, we ain't been through it, but this is what you can do. So we had to deal with these challenges ourselves as well. When, and we had to build up the courage as well. My thing about it is yes, you can use social media. There's different assets. And yeah, if your social media being watched by your abuser, create a new one, you know, create a new one to reach out, and that's how you handle the situation. My thing
Mm-hmm.
about it is stop being attached to these possessions. If you have to go and take your kid out of school and to leave, but the first thing that you should do is before you leave is put a restraining order on the abuser, no matter male or no matter woman or man, put a
It
restraining
doesn't matter
order.
who it is.
Right, because at the end of the day, an abuser is a manipulator, and when you leave, they're going to try, especially when you have kids, they're going to try to make you out to be the bad guy or the bad woman.
Yes.
And they're going to sit
Yes.
over there and try to make it seem like your fault. Then when you just leave and you just want your peace, they got restraining on you because it's all for control. So
That
you
is
have
true.
to understand to cover your ass
For
because
real.
if you get into situations where you have to kill your abuser, there need to be a paper trail to say, "Hey, I've been abused."
And you
You
have to
know,
yell, I fear for my life. You have to literally tell that to everybody you come across. I
right,
fear for my life. That saved me.
hmm,
I fear for my life. And you got to make it known.
right.
You
And
have
what
to
saved
make it
me, and what saved me was just getting up and going because I realized like I wasn't getting out of that situation alive. I don't know how
known.
long or whenever. Like
Mhm.
you should never live in discomfort. I don't
Ever.
care what it is. Some people they make themselves discomfortable and be like, "Oh, I don't love you no more. Or, I love you," and blah blah blah. But I'm talking about discomfort, meaning, you can't even sleep. You got bags under your eyes because you got to watch this person. you know,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
you getting beat on, or you come home, you got to take a deep breath before you walk in that house, because that person going to talk down to you, or and try to beat you down emotionally. They might not put their hands on you, but that mental and emotional abuse is just as if they putting their hands on you. If they
And
breaking
peace is
stuff,
everything.
right? If they out there breaking things, and you shouldn't be in there. And I'm gonna be honest, I used to be one of those guys that's that angry. Like I got really angry, and I'll rip a door because I was angry because I couldn't talk to my ex. I was like, "Yo, you're hurting me," and I got so mad, and I ripped the door apart. You get what I'm saying? You shouldn't have to. Neither one of y'all should have to live like that.
Yeah.
You should not be the antagonizer or the antagonizee. You should
Right.
always want, if a person choose you, they chose you as well as you chose them. You shouldn't want to choose someone or allow someone to choose you if you're going to hurt them.
Mhm.
Everything is a decision. That's my final thought. That's your choice. Everything is your choice. And it's also your
Mhm.
choice to leave too. And it's also their choice to leave you if you're that person. That's
Mhm.
my final thought. Thank you for watching.